Hi guys, it's Tomiko here, and today I would like to share my best tips how to save money as a student. All these tips helped me personally so much back in the day when I was an international student here in the UK. And if you've ever visited United Kingdom, especially London, then you know how expensive it is. So I'm going to categorize my tips into big chunks, I would say. So I'm going to cover education, rent, food, shopping, entertainment, anything else? Transport, yes. And one bonus tip is what I do not recommend saving money on. So let's get started. Let me start with the biggest expense you will ever have as a student. Tuition fees, of course. If you or your family can afford to pay for an expensive university program, or you can get 100% scholarship, then that is so great. But if you cannot afford to pay for a uni program, then think twice before you get yourself into a student loan. In my opinion, finding a more affordable study option is much better. We made a list of 5 great programs that are very cheap in the UK, and we put it into an article on our website. I'm going to link it here in the corner, so please follow the link to our website where you can read about 5 affordable programs in the UK, and you will find all the details you need. The second biggest expense for a student is the rent, and here I have one word of advice: is flat share. Flat share gives you so much more freedom than a student dorm provided by your university, and in most cases you can also find a room much cheaper than paying for a room in a student residence. I would recommend you to check out Rightmove. Rightmove is the biggest website here in the UK, and it's very trustworthy. And right now I noticed they also started a whole new section just for student rentals. Make sure when you're looking for accommodation, you're looking for a room in a flat share and not a separate flat, because as an international student trying to rent a separate flat in the UK, you would be asked to pay for a year in advance, which I'm sure you don't want to do. So make sure you're choosing a room in a flat share. Food is obviously a huge expense for students, as they seem always hungry, so I have quite a few tips in this section. First of all, I would recommend shop in more affordable supermarkets like Tesco, ASDA or Iceland. Their prices are noticeably cheaper than in other places. Also, great time of the day to go grocery shopping is in the evening. That's when supermarkets discount the food that's expiring that day, so you can get your dinner with an amazing discount, sometimes up to like 70%. One more thing I've noticed, that whenever you shop with someone else, your shopping bill tends to be a bit smaller. Usually about maybe 20%. So as a student, I used to shop with my best friend all the time, so we took advantage of all these multi-purchase offers like buy 3 for the price of 2 and things like that, and we would split the bill in the end, and most of the time it was just cheaper to shop together than separately. And guys, do not be afraid to buy supermarket owned brands, because most of the time you cannot taste the difference, but they are so much cheaper than other big brands on the shelves. And I always recommend to get a loyalty card, because especially in Tesco, I noticed it gives you really good discounts on food that you buy regularly. Sometimes they give you like a cashback coupons that you can redeem when you're doing your next purchase. So it's a great way to save some money. And of course, as a student, you're going to have bites on the go. And here, if you want to save money, the best thing is obviously to make your own snacks and lunches. But if you cannot be bothered and you're going to buy your lunch, let's say in Starbucks or in Pret, then my advice here is take it as a takeaway, because to have your food in, they usually charge you for that. Even when you're on a shoestring budget, it is so difficult not to buy yourself anything for the entire year, especially if you're here in London, because it kind of encourages you to go and do some shopping. This place is amazing for shopping. So I recommend all students to get there. I'm not sure how to pronounce it correctly. Is it NUS or NUS? Well, anyway, it's NUS extra cards. By the way, if you know how to pronounce it correctly, leave me a comment below. So these cards give you amazing discounts on pretty much everything, from music, travel, uni essentials to fashion, of course. You can get great discounts in places like Forever 21, ASOS, Accessorize, and just having your student card with you all the time helps a lot, because if you go to places like Zara or Topshop, on the checkout, if you do ask them about discounts for students, most of the times they do make discounts. You just need to provide your student card. And one more thing, I recommend to shop for used items on either eBay or charity shops. Charity shops are huge in the UK. A lot of people go shopping there. I, as a student, volunteered in Oxfam charity shop, and we had so many items from fashion, books, kitchen stuff for ridiculously small prices. A lot of items were under £5, some of them were £1. So don't spend a lot of money buying brand new stuff in the shop, especially if after a few years you're going back to your home country and not going to take all this stuff with you. One thing that makes me want to cry in London: prices on its public transport. It is so expensive. One single ride on a tube can cost you anywhere between £2.40 to £5 for a single ride, depending on how far you go in London. So if you're planning to move around a lot, then get a monthly travel pass. As a student, you're eligible for a 30% discount, and if you're not planning to travel a lot around the city, then probably the best thing is to take a bus whenever you need it. It's the cheapest way to travel. It's only £1.50, I think, for one single ride. Doesn't matter where you're going. And also, if you're going to take a cab to move around London, or maybe on a night out, do not take a black cab. It looks very cute, it is very traditional, but it is so expensive. So if you need to take a cab in London or anywhere in the UK, please use Uber. It's cheap, it is safe, it is reliable, it's, well, much cheaper than the black cab, that's for sure. And also, if you are planning to buy train tickets somewhere around the UK or maybe in Europe, then the best thing that you can do to save money, book it in advance. Booking it in advance makes a world of difference, because if you want to buy tickets in the UK last minute, you might pay almost 3 to 4 times of its regular price. Can you imagine? You could buy 4 tickets for the price of 1 if you booked it in advance. So please don't be lazy, book it in advance. Going out in the UK, especially in London, can get very expensive if you're not careful. But luckily, as a student, you can find some really good discounts. Today I already mentioned NUS extra cards that give you various discounts, including entertainment. Odeon cinemas give you discounts on movie tickets if you provide your student card, so always have it with you. And I've just noticed that most UK attractions where you have to pay an entry fee give you a discount if you show your student card. So make sure you always have it with you. And of course, in the UK and in London, there's so many other free things to do. There are a lot of free gigs, free or very cheap live music festivals, and of course all museums. I think that definitely, maybe not all, but most of them are definitely free of charge. Guys, these were my top tips how to save money as a student in the UK. But do not forget that as an international student in the UK, you will be allowed to work 20 hours per week. And I recommend you to take advantage of that. Not only you will earn some extra cash, but you will also earn valuable work experience. And now we're moving to a bonus tip, what not to save money on. Insurance, of course. Back in the day as a student, I had this really bad experience when we had a break-in in our place and valuables were stolen, like mainly electronics like laptops and cameras. And I'm not going to get into too much detail on that, but have to say that it was partly our fault because we were very uncareful and kind of let that happen to us. But anyway, the worst thing, we did not have insurance, so we had to replace all these things from our own pocket. And as a student, obviously you cannot just leave yourself without a laptop, and it was so expensive. Oh, I was on a strict budget after that for months. And even though I think that London is a very safe place and break-ins, I would say, quite rare, so you just have to be careful, but other things happen. Recently I had water spilled on my MacBook. It survived, but pure luck, guys, pure luck. And 2 or 3 years ago I accidentally dropped a microwave door on the screen of my iPhone, and it damaged not only the screen but the iPhone to the point that it was impossible to repair it, so I had to get the new one. But my point, things happen and you might end up never using your insurance, then it's great. But if you end up in the situation when you need to replace one of the very expensive items you own, having an insurance will make a world of difference to your budget. So please guys, insure your valuables. That is all for today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for international students in the UK. And I will see you next week.